That fixed it, didn't it? I hope that fixed the delay. Kind of got me back on track to what I was saying. So first time ever losing subscribers or losing business growth, and also people are trying to understand what's going on with Apple on your phone. So I forget what update it was, like iOS 15 or something, but it doesn't really matter. As all of a sudden your phone started asking you questions. Yeah, I figured I fixed it. Sorry, I'm like reading the chat and trying to monologue at the same time. It's a little hard. But, yeah. So your phone started asking you questions of, do you want to opt into this? Do you want this app to track you outside the app? What Facebook does, they build these user-specific profiles for people and then sells ad space to companies. And they can sell it directly to who would want the product. And it builds these profiles on you because it tracks everything that you do on your phone. And it's all in that user agreement that everyone just clicks accept to and goes through and doesn't want to worry about it and just says, fuck this, it's fine. Yeah, and in there they snuck in some sneaky language saying that while using the app, you are allowed to do this, and this with your phone. Good guy Apple here, not super good guy, but marginally good guy Apple says, okay, we don't quite like that what you're doing, so we're just going to have this opt-in question. And some people just hit sure, doesn't matter. Some people deny it. And what that hurts Facebook with not being able to make as good of ads. They can't basically go to a company and say, hey, these amount of people want your product already. They've put it in their cart in Amazon. They've Googled it 17 times. They're in a Facebook group that says, I love baking. Whatever. They just can't build these profiles as good as they used to, and that's going to hurt their ad revenue to the tune of like $100-something million of whatever it was. Insane percentage. But that's kind of what happened and why the theoretical money is now gone. Speaking of Apple news, Apple's developing this. It's not really a new technology, but they're integrating it, I think, in the not this generation of phones, but the next one, and where you'll be able to tap a credit card that has tap to pay, like any credit or debit card, where you can go and use tap at the register. What that's called is it's called NFC, near field communication. Basically, that means that one thing knows it's one thing knows it's something else. There's a security check, and you guys might hear me talk about like security or validation a lot when like trying to explain crypto to people on the podcast, but there's a security check when you tap your card. It knows your bank card, and that allows you to send money. Right now, Square can do it too. So if you're like a small business user or like an entrepreneur or like a freelancer in some way and you use Square, which Jack Dorsey and Twitter owned, by the way, which I don't even think it's called Square anymore. I think it's called like Cube or Box. They renamed it some shit. But just like you would on your little Square card, now you can do it without it. So it's kind of to promote people, to help people be entrepreneurs. It's pretty cool. I think it'll help people. I think it's kind of Apple's way of like fighting against the quick transition to cryptocurrencies as well. Is Apple makes its money as a credit card processing company now. Like they're no longer like a consumer hardware. They're no longer a personal computer company. Like they make all their money just like running credit card validations. So they want to stick to some of these typical ways of doing business. I guess you would call it. They have big deals in the background with Visa and a few of these other processors as well. It's really, it's high-level banking's a little over my head, and I'm trying to put it together through all this as well. Like what all of these companies do, and it's pretty much they're just giving a thumbs up to each other and then taking 3% here, 1.5% here, 4% here if you're an American Express user, I think. American Express is the one with all the best benefits, though, too. And I just realized that they're able to pay those benefits from what they charge the merchants on, which is, and their point of sale system. So pretty interesting. But But marginal, more good guy move Apple for being able to take payments. We got more people in the chat. We got Wits in 12 says Papa G. What's up, man? I'm just trying to talk about a few things that have come up on the podcast recently and clarify them a little bit. We've recently talked about how Facebook lost money and then what Apple is doing with its new phones and credit card processing services. Yeah, we talked about Square for a second. Apple builds new plants in India. So they're trying to break into that Indian market. It was hard for them for a while. They weren't manufacturing anything there. They were manufacturing other places and shipping it in. They were holding certain lots and then moving to the Indian market. But I think having something directly there will allow them to scale and grow out. So if you were an Apple stockholder, that will be cool. Let's see. I had these written down, some of the notes that I had for you guys. RAM is now making a new EV to compete with the Ford Lightning. I think they're trying to crowdfund that in a way. So, dear Dodge, just go ahead and make that car. Let's see. What else is going on in the consumer electronics world? I've been thinking about playing video games since we've said it forever for you guys. It's kind of all set up here in the living room. I don't know what I'm going to play yet. But speaking of video games, Sony bought this company called Bungie. What is Bungie? Bungie is a video game company. They make the video games. They are responsible for Halo. So they made Xbox a bunch of money. People think that Xbox is going to come to the PlayStation. Never going to happen. Sorry, don't. It's just not going to happen. They're not going to re-release all the games and port it to a new console. You're not getting it. Destiny is the big product right now. It's a multiplayer first-person shooter. Some people like it. I don't really play first-person shooters that much because I suck at shooting things. And they're going to put that on the PlayStation Store. Yeah, we can talk about that for a second. These stores, they want to get you, these companies want to get you hooked in their ecosystem to force you to purchase things and force you to live in that ecosystem. So Microsoft just bought Blizzard and Call of Duty and Candy Crush and someone else in that big acquisition deal for like $2 billion. You haven't seen any exclusivity rights yet, but those will come years and years later. Like they buy it, they put on this good guy facade for a few years, say they'll honor all their old contracts, but they want to get you locked into the Microsoft store, the Xbox store, staying there inside their system because you'll tend to go back to that for everything. Sony, in a way to compete, is kind of doing the same thing. So now everyone is just buying up game companies to the extent that the Wall Street Journal just bought Wordle. So if you're at home and you play Wordle, that's not owned by a libtard company. So I don't know, boycott it or something. I don't know. Greg says, I look 6'1" right now. I appreciate that, Greg. Tom Mello says, I'm too drunk for this chicken, which is an amazing Talladega Nights quote from my man Ricky Bobby that once said, I'm too drunk to taste this chicken. I appreciate that. I appreciate all those old Will Ferrell movies that we'll never get again. We'll never get comedy like we did in the mid-2000s. That's one thing me and Ross do agree on. But I think you can self-fund it. I think if you just get a bunch of funny people together and write some funny shit down and hold a camera in front of their face, they might do something funny. But who knows? Ruben says, kissing 6'2" with the hat. Guys, I'm just this big. I don't know what to tell you. The producer desk makes me look small. Maybe I just like sitting that low, I don't know. I'm going to get a computer hooked up here so I could show you guys all this cool stuff. But Gucci just released a new case for the AirPods Max that is $1,000. It doubles as a purse, and on the inside, it's got a little credit card holder. This is completely and utterly useless. It's obscene and very ugly. I kind of want it only because I think rappers are going to get it. I think rappers are going to get it, and they're going to wear it around with the headphones and the Gucci case. And I don't know if there's some nerd rapper who's out there stunting. So I want to get on it before him and then say I was cool. Yeah. Let's go back to the list. Oh, Elon Jet. Yes, let's talk about Elon Jet for a second. Oh, we like briefly covered it on Drinking Bros. So, you guys don't understand. A 19-year-old kid is tracking Elon Musk's Twitter, or tracking Elon Musk's jet and posting flight paths of it on Twitter 24/7. He wrote a script to do this. And I guess you're thinking, oh, like, whatever, that's not that big a deal. There is this... all right, so planes send off, and if someone in the military can clarify some of this information for me, that'd be great. But planes send off this transponder information. They have to. It's part of the laws of, like, being in the air. I guess that's, like, in the Geneva Convention or some shit. But he has this hardware and works with this company who's... I don't know what their purpose is, but they have these units placed all over the world, and people like buy them and set them up and then give the data of like receiving the transponded information. So it's not like, oh, it just like goes to Google and you can look up every little flight's info and it'll tell you, and then he just sent it to Twitter. No. Like, he is getting the legal information with a group of people all around the world who've been working on this kind of stuff for years. And apparently he's just like a huge aviation nerd. And has too much time on his hands because schools have been digital. He pissed Elon off. They've been directly trying to stop this. They've been trying to jam it. They've been sending up like fake flights that like do all these weird patterns and turn down. Like, he is literally taking up Elon Musk's time. Elon DM'd him on Twitter, offered him $5,000. He was like, nah, fam, that's chump change. Like, we're in a recession. That's like barely a stimmy. He says, I either want $50,000 or a Model 3. First of all, Model 3, not even your most expensive Tesla. I'm sure you have shit tons of those sitting around for promo use. Give him a Model 3. Or an internship. Elon blocks him. And I'm like, fam, can't be doing that to my man's here. He's 19. Like, I know he's pissing you off, and I know he's like maybe endangering you in some way by, you know, posting your whereabouts 24/7, and then maybe someone could find you or find the location that you show up at. He was interviewed about this on Lou Later, and his answer for why he's like not really worried about Elon's safety is because he's always met by security on the tarmac, and so he doesn't really think he's endangering Elon. I'm kind of 50-50 on that. But he also tracked tons of other billionaires. It's not just Elon. Elon's just the one that's gotten popular all of a sudden. He also tracks Bezos. He also tracks Bill Gates. He also tracks a few other people. I think Warren Buffett. So you can like go and like find all these Twitters of where he's just tracking people's billionaires' jets, which I think is kind of fucking hilarious. If you're like, yo, what is Bezos doing right now with his girlfriend? Where are they private jetting off to? What super yacht are they in right now? Hey, Jacob Nickel. Hey, Caleb. Sometimes I just stop mid-rant to look at the chat. I know it's not great audio, but that's what you guys getting. So Elon Jet has gotten so popular and so big that people are like, fuck it, it's 2022. Let's make crypto involved somehow. So now we got Elon Jet coin or Musk Jet coin something. And this is just a meme coin. It means nothing. But their goal is if they can get the market cap up to a certain, I think it was like 10 million, whatever the market cap is, then they'll buy the dude a Tesla. So, yeah, we're just meme coining, NFT and everything in 2020. We're Web 3.0 in. We're DeFi-ing. We're decentralizing. It's mamma jamma in. But while we're here, we could talk NFTs for a second. What I think it actually means when people say they are the future. And what the fuck is it? NFT, non-fungible token. What that means is cannot be faked, cannot be forged. How is it related to crypto? It's related to crypto because it uses the blockchain. What does the blockchain do? It writes things in a list. Very simple form. Blockchain writes things in a list. You can reference the list because the list never gets out of order. The NFT goes right to the blockchain. Now you have this little proof of authenticity, and you can do with this proof of authenticity whatever you want, person that wrote it to the blockchain. So basically, I'm Giorgio, and I'm walking up to the blockchain, and I'm like, scribble, 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 scribble on this code 1-4 billion hexadecimal key. I need one authentication, please. And I get that one authentication, and then I go, this artwork is the one artwork that I made, and I gave it my authentication key. And to prove I gave it my authentication key, I wrote it on the blockchain. What is that? That process is called minting an NFT. So you approach the great big list, the blockchain. There's a bunch of blockchains. There's not just one list. There's the Bitcoin blockchain. There's the Ethereum blockchain. There's the Polygon blockchain. Right now, most of your NFTs that you hear about are written on the Ethereum blockchain. That means it's Ethereum's big list. So I walk up there and I go, I'm going to mint me an NFT. So I go, I have 4 pictures. I need to take up 4 spaces on the blockchain. I take up those 4 spaces. Now all of those 4 things are an NFT. I have minted them. I'm the holder of them. If they go out of my possession, that is written on the blockchain. And then we can reference that later if need be. And that's how you know who owns what. That's how you know what is what. If it's the authentic one, if it is the OG, if it is the good one, because it's written on the blockchain. So if I were to sell it to someone, whoever the highest bidder was would give me that money. I would give them the NFT, and then we would write that to the blockchain. We would pay a transaction fee or a gas fee, if you hear that term thrown around. And this is very specifically in the art world or whatever I walked up to the big list blockchain and said, I want to cash in for. How this could work in the sports ticketing world. You know, the owner of the Rams goes up and I need 60,000 tickets to fill my stadium, so write 60,000 NFTs, please. And then when you buy that NFT, that's written on the blockchain. Now you're the holder of that. So, you know, it's a very easy way to verify who has the tickets, cutting out whatever procedure they use now. Yeah, so that's what I think they mean when I think NFTs are the future. It's just a small piece of validation that you can give to something and then have whatever use for. Hotel keys. You could have a time expiring NFT. If you were to automate the entire, theoretical future, automate the entire hotel, you could purchase. It would give you an NFT. You know, you could then display that NFT, on a QR code or use whatever form you want to talk to the lock of the door, get in the room. Yeah. Now I'm getting a little high. Tom's asking if there's a Papa G candle. There should be. I have a patio outside. Maybe I'll shoot an episode outside one day. And I'll light all the candles. They're pretty big. They're yay big around, probably twice the circumference of my cock. And I have 15 of them. They're pretty cool. Jacob Nichols saying Space Cowboy. I'm more of a Maurice. But, if you get that joke, then you're a fan of mine. Wow. I guess more Apple news. You guys heard of AirTags? It's the Apple version of what was that company? Tile. It's the Apple version of Tile. They came out like 6 months ago, but now people are stealing expensive cars with them. They are, I'm assuming, valets, or they're in somewhere in Boca Raton, Florida, and they're just attaching an AirTag to the wheel well of the car, stalking it out, like basically watching the person's habits, and then stealing the expensive cars. Go Apple, go Apple, go. Go Apple, go Apple, go. Yeah, I definitely think they're probably been put to track girlfriends. People say boyfriends are definitely doing that. If you have an iPhone, it will alert you if an AirTag that's not associated to your Apple ID has been with you for a certain amount of time. But I think the original time was like over 72 hours, and it's like, yo, you can do a lot of damage in 72 hours. I think they've since recently shortened that, and it'll also beep and make a noise now. Presumably originally to be like, yo, I can find it. So like if my AirTag was in my bag or attached to something I needed or my keys, I could find it very quickly by making it beep. I could also then, I don't know, track other people's shit. But then Apple said, we can use it to let you know if you're being stalked. We can already see how this would be an issue. Well, now on Etsy, people are disabling the speaker. They're cutting them open, popping them up, disabling the speaker, and selling them for like $75 a piece. It's clearly for one purpose. I think they're trying to set up some like sting operation now with them, or Etsy's trying to do something to take them down in a way. But yeah, man, should be crazy. Also, why did no one ever use Tile for this? Was Tile just like that ugly? Was the square like that bad that you couldn't use it to stalk people? Like, I don't get why a technology that's been around for 5+ years. They used to sell Tile in Apple stores. Then all of a sudden Apple makes one, and it's like, oh, well, shit, everyone's going to buy it and use it. Crazy, ain't it? I love how like every time I hit this, I think of something else that I wanted to talk about real quick, which is great. Greg says Etsy stock been on a little run. Not gonna say I called it, but I called it. I mean, anything that gives people entrepreneur like availability and they have a platform built for it, I think is gonna continue to rise. Like there will be some form of that, like marketplace, for people who are garage creators. So yeah, we'll see how Etsy handles their like business practices. I don't follow them too closely. I don't really know why I don't have an Etsy account. I guess I buy a lot of shit off eBay. I'm just a traditionalist like that. But speaking of buying shit, I've had a hard time finding cases lately. So if any of the 20 of you out there are a custom gun case manufacturer, I don't need gun cases, but I need someone who makes those to help me make cases. This joint is finally out, which means we're moving on to the bong. It's that time of the show. Sound effects board. Dan, someone, no one. It's just me. Handy dandy rolling tray. Now, it's really easy if you just scoop with the bowl. See that technique right there? Oh, perfect bowl. No spillage. I love this little thing from Colorado Glassworks, 303. Denver just does glass better. Like, they're the number one place in America for glass, and there's been a resurgence recently of American glass blowers making some really crazy shit. So just shout out to Denver. The Chinese market bullied them out for a while because they could make everything cheaper and easier. and then ripping off all the Americans' cool perk ideas. But recently, there's been kind of a comeback, and most of it's coming out of Colorado. So shout out Colorado. Actually, for that, one more. I guess speaking of crypto, nah. I guess we can look at CoinMarketCap real quick and see what's going on right now. If I could even type correctly. Because, it'd be like that sometimes. Bitcoin at 43,000, Ethereum over 3K. So, I mean, what was it, like 6 weeks ago, the big drop? Let's go and pull up this chart real quick. When basically the crypto was in a free fall, it was over. Let's see. Let's go 3 months. When did it drop? It was at $2,000 at the end of January. So yeah, if you bought Ethereum at the end of January, you've increased 30% right now, and we're not even in like a high or bullish market. So buying Ethereum under $3,000 seems to be a good idea. Market has been extremely volatile over the past year, to be honest. People keep claiming they know shit. People keep claiming and drawing Fibonacci sequences and cup and handling and double bottoming and pulling up graphs and making you sign up to their Patreons. And yeah, no one knows shit. Like, I see how you can use it. And there's lots of ways to use it and lots of big-handed business deals for things that can move markets and people hiding money and, things like NFTs coming out of nowhere. But, yeah, I don't think anyone knows what the fuck is going on. Cardano, a coin that I liked earlier this year, $2, back down to $1.16. Might buy more of that, to be honest. Shiba Inu is literally available on Binance now, and over the past 7 days is up 42%. It's down 5% today, but that's ridiculous. I think wasn't Jacob Nickel, someone in the chat like 5 months ago was like, "Yo, what do you think about Shibu?" And I was like, "Oh, like that bootleg Doge that's not even worth 0.00 something of a cent. Yeah, like whatever. No, don't do that. But like, if you put your money in it, then you've made fucking money." So, my advice is find a horse or find a project you think is cool, and just don't look at it until you make money. Which is just an absolutely ridiculous thing to say, but like literally I can just grab every coin and just go the 360 and it's positive. So, it's just like put your money in and don't worry about it till you make more money. Like, I'm sorry if you bought Bitcoin at 60K and you literally bought Bitcoin, or you bought it at 65K because you thought you were getting on the rocket ship that was going to the moon. You just hang out, fam. Don't try to be a day trader. Don't try to catch stuff on the market, because that's how you lose all your money. Don't say I have a couple quick grand to play with and I can just take it in and take it out, because you'll get ate up on fees. All your profit that you made will just be ate up on fees. There's a couple cool pro accounts you can get, and then different backed cards with the Gemini account or Coinbase account. You can get a spending card and move stuff into one of the stable coins, which is just a coin that is always worth $1, and then spend that stable coin. Yeah, there are ways to do things like that, but just I guess if you're going to invest, my only non-advice would be just, I don't know, pick a horse and ride your horse. What other cool? Oh, Apple sues a movie character called Apple Man, and he literally has the power of apples. So I find that fucking hilarious. Other news. Sorry, guys. I had some more of this written down. If you have any questions for me, Let me know in the chat. Oh, the Stream Deck's out. First portable neck, like the first, I guess, Class A. I guess gamer out there could clarify me the Class A titles. So like your normal best console of the year titles can be played on a handheld device. This is basically just a mini computer with smashed in between to like a controller. Basically, think of a controller with an iPad smashed in between it, running Linux, running Steam OS. So basically, you can play all your fun games if you're a PC gamer under a certain list. Not all of them handheld now. They're going to be hard to get, but I heard if you like playing video games, this should really change shit. Like you could play, while watching other things on your TV now and play the exact fun games that you want. You could do it while you're taking a shit. You could do it while you're getting a blowjob. You can play all your favorite games on a super nice, I think it's a 1080p screen. I don't think they put a 4K screen in there. Handheld. So go Steam Deck, go. Also, I don't know why they picked that name because it sounds just like a product from Elgato called the Stream Deck, which is a little handheld button keyboard. Going to be very, very confusing. I guess office news. This is what you guys all came for. You wanted me to spill secrets about the office. Yes, Delco's tattoo does look that good. He had to pay like $600 to $1,000 for that tattoo. The amount of work and time that went into that and booking. He's also looking pretty swole. He's joined the 10th Planet family, which is nice. A little insecure, but he has friends there, so I like that for him. And recently on a break, so the sky's the limit for this man. This guy's own golf show going on now. Filmed that today with Ross. Basically, Ross just asked Dan for his picks, which I think is hilarious. But there's a little graphic for that now that Jay drew up. Jay's our graphic guy who lives in another country, which is pretty cool. He's the one who makes all the cartoons for everyone. Jacob Nichols says Delco and Bob's Baby should get matching tattoos. I agree with that. Ruben's asking how have I never started a bong store called G-Spot Smoke Accessories. Well, I did live at a bong store for a few months in Colorado. It was a bong store / bed and breakfast in Georgetown, Colorado, a wonderful small town in Colorado, right outside the Loveland Ski Resort, which is still a resort and still really nice and has all the different, it's a wonderful, beautiful mountain, but isn't as stuffy as like Vail or Breckenridge or something like that. It's a little bit more off the beaten path for the locals, but like, where you can get after it and duck into trees, smoke a bowl, hit it a few times on the lift, and then, rip that fresh pow. But yeah, there was also a bong shop that I tended. We sold stained glass as well. It was just all kinds. It wasn't just a bong shop. It was a glass shop. So we sold all kinds of hippie glass, figurines, ornaments, vases. Christmas ornament time was just the jam. Like it was the busiest time of year, and everyone would just flood this small town. And like old ladies would just like come in by the droves, and just be like perusing the wares and be like, do I want this? I don't know. And like looking it up towards the light, like a Persian man. Yeah, I'm going to take a bong rip on that one. Also, I'm just going to give another shout out to these little like mini bongs. Like you can take 2 quick hits. You can really just control what you're doing here. It doesn't take a bunch of water. You're not awkwardly putting it places and kicking it. Big fan of the mini bong. Jacob's asking if I've ever used one of those glass gravity bongs. No, I have not. All the gravity bongs I've used have been from like A 3 liter bottle, if any of you like are white trash and know what that is, like regular soda doesn't come in it, and it has the fat cap like from the Gatorades, but it held 3 liters of RC cola. So you would cut one of those in half, and you would get a mop bucket because someone in your family was Mexican, and because you're a Mexican family, and it's my family, and there's a mop bucket, and you probably are still have mop chemicals in there. That just adds to the high. And you just fill that with water, and then you take a socket wrench and you burn a hole in the Gatorade cap with a lighter, and you hold that upside down. But first, you don't do it right. First, you just hold it regular, and then you realize you just burn your fucking hand. But you definitely do that for like 15 seconds because you're white trash and you're a little high earlier. Because you were smoking out of aluminum can, and you were like, okay, maybe I shouldn't smoke so much aluminum, because it was just like an RC Cola can that you poked holes in, and you like sprinkled weed and like salvia in, because it's me and you're I think 11 at this time, and I'm making a gravity bong out of this 3 liter bottle of cola that we talked about that you don't even know what I'm talking about because you're too rich to have ever seen a 3 liter bottle of cola. All right, so you burn a hole in the top of that. All right, and then while it's still gooey, you smash a wrench from your dad's socket set. Hopefully it's your stepdad, or you're at your cousin's house and it's your shitty Uncle Randy who left his Aunt Kay, so it's okay to like take and use his shit, and like of course he's gonna be mad, but like everyone hates him because he's a piece of shit, so like it's all right. And you jam that in there while the top of the bottle is hot and gooey, and once that gets in there nice and like that, you chew up some bubble gum, because like the gooey burnt plastic should hold it tight and should seal, but sometimes it doesn't seal good enough. So that's where the bubble gum comes in. And you're like, oh, why'd you need a bottle with such a big top, like a Gatorade top? It's because you're shoving a socket in there and you want a big as bowl as possible. All right. So now that you have your water in your mop bucket with the mop bucket chemicals, because you didn't clean those out because you're a kid and like who the fuck would do that? And then you put the weed and salvia mixture into the key socket, and then you slowly pull it all up until you get this 3 liter bottle of cola, all filled with this weird mixture of herbs and weed and probably a little bit of DMT left in the bag, mop bucket chemicals, and for sure some more burnt plastic. And then you unscrew the top, and then you start inhaling it, and then someone pushes you down because you don't know it's a gravity bong because you're just a kid and you're like, oh, I'm not really sure how these works, and you didn't realize, you thought it was just cool, and now we like it's kind of like a volcano, and now we just sip it and suck on it, and it just, there's a bunch of smoke in there. Cool. No, pushes your head, that pushes the water back down, the nasty chemical water splashes up into your face, up in your nose, drips out your nose, but shoves all of that smoke down your throat. Now you're dry heaving, coughing, you're spitting up water, it's in your nose, it's leaking down, it's definitely still filled with mop chemicals, you're blowing out all this smoke. Your chest is compressing and sneaking together, but then you start sweating because then you remember that half of that bowl was salvia, and you're like, holy shit, that was like supposed to be for everyone. It was a giant bowl. It was the biggest socket in the socket set, and you're on the ground, and your chest is just getting tighter and tighter together, and the mop bucket chemicals are still spilling out your nose, and you trip balls. Yeah. If you're out there and you've also made a gravity bong, I hope you've also had a similar situation with your asshole friends or cousins. Yeah, you, Blake. I hope you find those people later in life, and I hope they're not doing as well as you. I hope maybe they're on to their second or third marriage. They're definitely raising kids that aren't theirs, and they don't even see their own. Their stepkids hate them. They definitely yell, "You're not daddy," and it's because they fucked with you and they made you take that gravity bong unwillingly and unknowingly, and water shot out your nose. Fuck those people. They deserve all the pain and suffering they get in this world and in life, and I hope that more bad things happen to them. I hope that they continue to raise a kid who hates them, who's not theirs, and steals their money. Speaking of which, I'm working on some new stand-up about robbing my parents. When I'm home for the holidays, it just got me back into old habits, and that was stealing from my folks. Just cash out my mom's purse because, why not? And then I got my dad an iPhone a couple years ago for Christmas, and I got him one of those Otter boxes so he can literally throw it out the car and find it. But then I also got him Venmo, so then I just go downstairs and Venmo myself money. I was like, $50. Picked him up from the bar. He was drunk. Taxi, late night fee, his own vehicle. I had to wait on him. $50. Which reminded me of when I was a little kid, and I would still rob my dad. He had this closet right by the living room where he kept all the shit that my mom didn't want in the house. So there was golf clubs, like an 18-foot anaconda snake skin, a couple different guns, baseball card collection. But he had this sack of gold coins. And when I was a small child, I really loved Pokemon cards, and that's why you guys come to me for all your Logan Paul Pokemon advice. My dad did not like Pokemon cards and wouldn't buy them for me. I wouldn't take no for an answer, so I took his gold coins and went with my mom and her friend Kay to the mall. And while they were in Payless Shoes, I ran over to Toys R Us, pouring out for Toys R Us, and threw a sack of gold coins on the counter and said, "Give me all your fucking Pokemon cards." The dude bent over, looked at me, and then said, "Where the fuck are your parents?" Joke's on him. He could have made out with I'm assuming was $3,000 worth of gold bullion. And all I wanted was a box of Pokemon cards. So, joke's on you, Toys R Us employee, you sucker. Little did he know I also had Pokemon cards stuffed in my pants. So, joke's on him twice. My mom actually just put those back and didn't even tell my dad because she knew how mad he'd be and she didn't want to deal with it. So shout out to my mom. Also in that closet was a bag of antique porn peepers. This is like a kaleidoscope, but on the inside you see a 1920s flappers girl. I stole all these, took them to school, sold them for $1. These went all over the country. Dudes were jerking off to women their grandmother's age. Pretty fucking cool. I like to think of myself as an entrepreneur my entire life, even to this day. Greg lost a $400 bong. R.I.P. to that bong, Greg. If you like expensive glassware, you like to break expensive glassware. Because that's how the world works. There's a bunch of bongs that I think back on fondly. I think back more on old bongs than I do on old girlfriends. I had this one from this company called Olympic Glassworks. They were a small mom and pop shop out of San Diego. It hit better than anything I'd ever hit in my life, and the bottom had this ring around it, and it was so thick it doubled as a hammer. You could wield off a army of orcs with it. It was very handy. It got lost in the raid when we got robbed, and my roommate in college got the Range Rover stolen by the dude who worked at Burger King. The bongs were all in that loot as well. Quick story, we come home drunk from the bars. A dude peels out in my roommate's Range Rover, steals a bunch of stuff from the house, but leaves his book bag with his Burger King outfit in it and his clock out stub. So close. But we also never got our shit back. Our Xboxes and PlayStations were all in evidence, and then I'm assuming went to some cops' kids. Space Cowboy says he had this bong he used to love, but his ex smashed it on his birthday, and this is the shit that happens. This is what happens when you... I'm assuming you deserved it. Actually, Space Cowboy, let me know in the chat if you deserved it or not. I'm assuming you did. And yeah, but still RIP that bong, because I'm assuming it was a good bong and it didn't deserve it. So whatever you did to make her smash that bong is your fault. Giorgio is very feminist right now. Caleb Rex says, I used to rip pages out the booby, mags, and books a million. Like in the grocery store, like you would like take one, like you're reading it, and rip a few pages, fold them up, put them in your pants, walk home, and jerk off to them. Because if you did, please let us know in the chat. MB says, I have 3 machetes my grandfather's confiscated from high schoolers. One, why is your grandfather interacting with high schoolers? Old people should not interact with high schoolers. They should be with other old people doing old people things. Or if they have a special skill, they should be, I think, mentoring a kid of a different race. It's a white kid learning a skill that only another race knows, to make him a better white kid. Yes, I heard the Bible pages used to work for rolling joints, but also rolling papers are the cheapest thing ever, and every gas station says them. And if you're like me, you just took a can, poked holes in it with like a thumbtack or a pen or a key or something, and you ripped it out that because you wanted to smoke that sweet, sweet aluminum because you were white trash. Or when you were feeling crafty and you're already kind of high, you're like, I'm going to make a bong out of stuff. MB replied about the machetes and said from when he was a cop. I played with machetes when I was like 12 in California on my grandfather's farm in California. Sometimes you just like to go cut down and fuck shit up. Like, I don't know, like initially I was thinking machete in like an urban environment when I was like, whoa, it's a little obsessive. And then 2, I was like, maybe they're just like in the back of a pickup truck, like cutting trees down as they're, smoking a little wacky tobacco and drinking and having unprotected sex. Nico says, I'm sure you could have used an apple. Was never a fan of an apple. No, I don't know why I always went to making them out of a can. I think I told you I like that sweet, sweet aluminum. Preston P says, Book of Mormon pages work too. I think that's actually a musical. So that's performed and not necessarily written down, but maybe it's transcribed somewhere or there's lyrics and sheet music, so I guess. Also, did you guys know that the Mormon Church took out a full page ad in the playbook of the Book of Mormon? I find that fucking hilarious. Space Cowboy says they don't have apples in trailer parks. Look, I only lived in a trailer from age 4 until age, I believe, 10 or 11. But the house I moved to was on the same land as the trailer. But the trailer has then since been demolished because we were too good for that trailer. And I was like Jenny, and I was like throwing rocks at it, and I was like, fuck that, I'm not white trash. And then I was squirting ketchup in my mouth when I had a mouthful of hash browns, and I was like, I am that white trash. All right, I was like, how long have I been talking, y'all? It's like almost an hour. I'm going to smoke some more of this bowl real quick. I've told y'all stories. Yeah, I hope you've liked them. I'm getting high enough where I started doing voices, which I can't really hear myself because if you would know since you were here from the beginning that these headphones don't work, they are just for show. Sweet, sweet marijuana. God damn, it's good. Oh, thank you, Lord Jesus Christ, for this delicious wacky tobacco that I will inhale into my lungs. Oh, shit, I need to watch The Righteous Gemstones. I haven't done that yet. I've been playing career mode FIFA and just masturbating when I come home from work, and that usually takes about 4.5, 5 hours. But now I'm scheduling an hour for you guys in between FIFA and aggressive masturbation sessions to hang out and talk and hopefully find that G spot. I'll try to clarify things that we talk about on the show, give you small insight into people's lives, tell you secrets and behind the scenes information. Always plug my OnlyFans if you want to see me do terribly dirty things. I'm giving away free subscriptions in the DMs. Greg says we used to push down the length of an Arizona can to smoke it out and call it a canoe. See, Greg, this is the crazy trailer park shit that I used to do, and I'm here for it. Real quick, when my mom was a waitress when we were living in the trailer, she worked at one of these fish houses and hung out with this girl named, I think her name was Ruby too, and her son was named Rodney. And as a small child, I didn't really know what was going on, but they lived in a trailer park, but it was also okay. But we lived in a trailer, but our trailer was like on our own land, so it was like a little bit nicer, and we had a porch on our trailer, so it was a little bit fancier. It was off the wheels, if you know what I mean. But they were in a trailer park, and we could never go into the room which the guy was in, and I then learned that he was on some sort of good medical disability, and he just did oxys and smoked weed all day and fucked this girl, well, this lady with a kid who worked at a fish house, and watched TV all day. And that's why we could never be in the room that he was in. But we would play video games, and we would watch Real Sex on HBO and try to unscramble it. That's where I learned all about that shit. The one of the episodes that we got to work was the penis puppetry, where the dudes could fold their dick into different things, and it was like a travel circling act. Honestly, I haven't thought about that in like 15 years. And what a hilarious thing. I just remember two dudes who had this act and the way that they could contort their penis in different things, and they called one the baby bird, where it was chirping. The wristwatch, where you would pull it over your wrist. I remember the hamburger, in which you would fold your dick in between your balls, then turn it sideways. And the little spots where the hairs grew out were the sesame seeds, which I thought was fucking hilarious. Yeah. Damn. Shout out to HBO. Just doing it right since day one. And then now you're doing Game of Thrones. Fucked up the ending, but I'm rewatching it now. I'm on season 7. It's been really good up until this point. In between the FIFA games and the aggressive masturbation. And then now this for you guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed the G-Spot. Hopefully I found it. Hopefully I said something that was somewhat interesting and you learned something in the beginning and understand what NFTs and lists are and the big bad blockchain. I love you all. I could probably stand here and do this all night, but I think Jack will be back on Friday maybe. Nico just said was the second show about penis puppetry. Yeah, I think that was it. And then that Sean said the same thing. So the fact that me and Sean had somewhat relatable childhoods. Is that hilarious? Like we were just the opposite of what would happen. Like, unfortunately, I got the good genes, and then Sean had to be Sean, and he got those genes, and that's the best that he could do because we're both half Mexican. Artem's here, and then Aries, the one who talked about the sheep. Hilarious. I love you all. This has been fun. Maybe I'll do more cameras. Maybe I'll plug a computer into where I can show you cool things from the internet. Because I've been trying to understand what I could bring that no one else can bring, and it's the fact that I'm the only one who lives on the internet that is not Twitter. So I know what's going on everywhere that's not people sharing political memes, which unfortunately does get old. And you want to hear about the Gucci headphone case for $1,000 that rappers are going to buy that I might buy, which looks hideous, and you really want to see it. So Google Gucci AirPods Max headphone case and have yourself a nice laugh. I love you all.